Mariana Yanez-Calvillo. I'm 17 years old and I'm excited to just get this opportunity to apply.
Woo, we love that. And then I wanted to sort of ask you, so what is your favorite activity to do right now outside of school or work?
Ooh, my favorite activity right now, I write for this online newspaper with students that's outside of my school. It's called Voice of Las Vegas. And we basically just report on different current events happening in Las Vegas. So recently, one of the biggest hotels called the Mirage closed down, and I wrote an article about that. And just cool getting to talk to an editor who goes to college and he helps me with my articles, I send it out, and then it gets published onto the site. I really like, creative writing and, like, talking about current events right now, and that's probably one of my favorite things right now, researching and getting to, like, be creative with my own writing and seeing it on its own website.
Oh wow, do you do that also? Do you do journalism in school as well?
Not really because it is a class, because I also like I fill up my classes a lot. I take like mock trial and stuff. So not really, which is why I also enjoy just getting to do it outside of class and like being exposed to different people who don't even go to my school who write for the same website.
Well, that sounds really interesting, and that sounds like you're kind of like dipping your toes in a bunch of different like what is it, subjects and interests. So that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
And then another question I have is what qualities of yourself are you most proud of, and can you pick three of them?
Ooh, okay. I'd say my qualities that I'm most proud of are probably, my confidence. I tend to be really outgoing. I've done 5 different sports during my time at high school, stuff that I've never even tried, like swimming. I'm on the pole vaulting team first year. Um, I've tried out for things like theater, and I obviously really like mock trial, so I would say confidence. And another one is probably my like, public speaking skills, can I say that?
Yeah, yes, you can.
I like
You're
so
I also forgot to say there's no wrong answers here, don't worry.
okay, great.
Brag about yourself
Something
all you want.
wonderful. Something I'm really, like, proud of, is just the ability to work on my own public speaking skills.
Yeah.
Something that I want for my future is I intend to be, like, a politician, but first be a lawyer, and so I've done things, like, at my school I didn't try out, I ran for secretary, and, like, my school class is, like, 500 people then when I tried out, so I had to, like, give a speech and talk to all of them. I was runner up, but I was proud of, like, just being able to do that. And obviously my mock trial, I memorize the speeches, I go over the cases, and it's really nerve-wracking, but it's also just like something that I really love doing. And I'm really proud of like just pushing like myself to new limits, like talking to my peers and all that. So my last quality would probably be my optimism. Like
Yeah.
I tend to be super optimistic about everything. I always try to like I'm a very much half glass half full kinda gal. So, anything that happens, I always just try to look at, maybe that wasn't for me, maybe it was a sign to do something else. Like when to even be, on the mock trial team, you have to, like, try out and stuff, so if I don't get the part, there's different things, obviously it wasn't meant for me, and I try to be as optimistic as I can, and it just also helps with, like, it helps me grow as a person in my charity work. I have, like I go to it's called Down Syndrome Organization of Southern Nevada,
Mhm.
and I grow a community there, and, like, I, like, see these kids there, and I help them out with, like, their own speaking skills, and they're, like, performing a theater, so I help them out there, and sometimes when they're, like, a little down because they can't memorize their lines, I feel like my optimistic views and my optimistic personality kinda helps them, like, push through, and yeah.
Well, okay, already, like, starting off, we see that you're a very, like, you're willing to try a lot, you're willing to wear a lot of hats, you have a lot of interests, which is really cool. So, I wanted to sort of ask you a little bit, and I know you've delved into like you probably have so many answers to this question, considering you just talked about your charity work with Down syndrome, your gosh, just like everything that you've been doing outside of school, like working on the newspaper. But what is an accomplishment, personal project, or extracurricular activity that you are proud of working on?
I would probably say, my freshman year, I tried out for the flag football team, which is something totally like I knew nothing about football when I tried out. I knew
Wait.
nothing about
I'm gonna ask you to repeat this. Flag football or football?
flag football.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, not and there was different rules than football, but I knew nothing about it, nothing about the rules. I played like soccer before, so obviously I had to learn hand-eye coordination. But, I stuck through it for 4 years, and I just finished my season, and I think that, that's probably what I'm probably most proud of just, like, being able to stick through when it was, like, hard and all these girls already knew each other before,
Mhm.
and being able to, like, learn the game and still, um, having the mindset of growing to get better.
Right, so what is the tip that you would give somebody who's trying to like who is, a little bit afraid to try new things and stick to something?
I would just probably tell them that not to worry about if they fail or if something happens because no one is paying that close attention to them except themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really helped me as well, that you just gotta not think about yourself as much as you are, and I just tell them to focus on a growth mindset rather than what are people thinking about me.
Like sort of like rather than thinking about like the negatives, you want them to just think about like how they can grow from it?
Yes, exactly, yeah, like, if anything, fail as much as you can so you can get better.
You do a lot of things outside of school, but what do you do in school? What does education mean to you specifically?
I would say education to me specifically would just mean being more well versed as a person and just getting to know yourself along with new things that come with it. Like um, my school, you have to take a language. So I'm Hispanic, and I still took Spanish, and I think that that really even though I grown up speaking Spanish, I learned new things still in that class that I didn't know before, and I think that's really what education is that you're just never not gonna know you're never gonna know everything, and that's okay, and it's interesting to keep learning that you're not gonna know everything,
Yeah.
and yeah, I really like Spanish class even though I've grown up, obviously, my family members, some of them don't even speak English, but it's just cool to now know some like old slang or stories that I could connect to other people with.
Old slang specifically?
Yeah, because my teacher's from Mexico, so she'll sometimes like tell me stuff that she'll tell our class stuff or she'll tell us like recipes in Spanish, and it's just cool to like connect when I didn't know before.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were talking about like the vocabulary words that you're learning are older, like
Oh,
like in general. But that's really interesting that like I mean you do have a you sound like it sounds like it's a growth mindset. Like there's always something to learn. And you're
yeah.
even learning beyond sort of just like, the grammar tenses, but you're learning about your teacher and sort of like words that you like that were past in the past like what is it? Popular.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Just getting to know underneath the surface level.
So I just wanted to ask, is there like a cause or a social issue that you're passionate about? And why is this social issue important to you?
I would say a cause that I'm really passionate about is teen mental health. And so at my school, we have a club called Teen Empowerment Club, and
Yeah.
I'm one of the leaders for it. And it's basically just trying to spread awareness at our school about the the stigma of teen mental health and how it's not talked about enough. And we also at our club meetings, we try to help people get through or like during finals weeks, we'll have like coloring sessions of things like to like help them calm down. And I also volunteer with this organization called Hope Means Nevada, which was founded by other teenagers. And I'm one of the team committee members. And at those organization events, we did like a walk the other day where families of teenagers who have struggled with mental health, they come and we all just like support them and we have like pop-ups everywhere. And I think that this cause is really important to me because I've had friends and I just like being a teenager and being around other teenagers and seeing mental health struggles, it's really not talked about enough. And I think that that's really important to me. And just being able to be in a community like Hope Means Nevada and being able to be a part of it at my school really helps me, like, spread the word throughout my community and stuff.
Is
Yeah.
there, like, a specific instance that's, like, sits out or that how do I explain this? Is there, like, a specific, like, incidence of you just, helping out a student who is maybe going through a hard time mentally that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I had a really close friend who we didn't get close. I knew her throughout middle school, but
Mhm.
she kind of became distant in high school, and I asked her kind of what was going on, and it was during the time that I was being a part of all this, like, teen empowerment and Hope Means Nevada, and she kinda confided in me and another teacher, and we both talked to the school counselor about it, and we got her help, and she's, like, better now, and this is, like, one of my, like, it makes me happy that that happened because now I know that to be more cognizant of, like, my friends and how they're doing and just stressors of teenage life that puts a weight on people and being more aware of that.
So what sort of advice would you give to somebody who wants to, like, make that positive impact on their community and who wants to, like, maybe go into, helping helping teen mental health in general?
I would say to look up organizations around you, and that's actually how I found, Homies Nevada. The counselor is, like, the coordinator for the Teen Empowerment Club, and she referred me to the club to the nonprofit, so that way I could reach out and, uh, interview for, like, a leadership position, and I'd say, yeah, just getting to be just researching it in your community and finding out how you could spread it further throughout your community, like how we brought it to school and, maybe to even your family, because it's not talked about a lot within families too. So that's what I would say.
I wanted to ask specifically, so you were already interested in teen mental health before, so you just, like, researched that up? Or,
Yeah.
like, with the counselor at your school?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I found out through the counselor at my school that there was, like, they
This
wanted to form this
organization.
club and they need leaders, and so then I interviewed and, I got the leadership position, and that's when she referred me to the other, Helpings Nevada.
So you wanna be a politician, but you're also super interested in mental health, and you also help kids or you also help, like, a theater company or theater and Down syndrome, like, that's a lot, that's wearing a lot of hats.
I know, yeah. It's
Um, I also forgot to mention, can you tell me about someone who has left an impact on you and why?
I would say someone who left an impact on me is my sophomore year and junior year English teacher, and he was just really he's one of those teachers that really reaches and connects to the students,
Mhm.
and he was super talkative and kind of just gets people to get out of their shells, and he's actually the one that really inspired me to have, like, a growth mindset. He would just always talk about how important it is, and even if we did bad on tests, he would always still, empower us, you know? And so I just think that that was, like, a really good positive interaction with a teacher figure that I've had in all of my years of education at schools. And he really just like inspired me to be that person that he tells us that we can be. And I think that that's, yeah, my English teacher.
What is a challenge that you have had to work through, and how has it shaped you?
Ooh, I would say a challenge that I had to work through was probably my time management and getting to do all these activities. I feel like I had like a big workload. I take like honors classes and APs, and then on top of it, a 2 hour sport practice afterwards, and or a game that lasts longer than that. So I think that time management was a big challenge that I had to overcome and focus my priorities on which one I had to be, as a student athlete. And so I think the way I worked through that was planning out my day using a planner, just seeing it visually and writing it out really helped me. And uh allotting time at school, like maybe during lunch, I'd get a little bit of my English reading done. And then right after school, when I'm changing, I'll look at the math problems. And I think that that's really what I focused on throughout high school as well, is just managing my time. And it's a really hard when you're trying to be social and you have family and you have sports and yeah.
All right, so I have one last question. What would you say to a student who will be doing their own storyteller interview? Do you have any advice to like give on or to give to them?
I would say not to overthink it. This storytelling interview obviously is just supposed to be you, yourself, and yourself. Uh, just kind of get to know who you are before the interview. Obviously, think about yourself and what you've done and how you don't have to be pressured because, like you said, this is like a conversation, and you're not just like I said, you're not like don't compare yourself and try to be just as calm as you can because you are you are yourself. That's all you need.
Hey YouTube, if you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!